Hi everyone, it's Hannah and welcome back to another doll customization video. Today I'm going to be doing Hinata from Naruto Shippuden. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, you might have noticed this is where I would usually show my face and probably act all awkward on camera. I'm trying something new and instead showing you Hinata with some shaky camera angles. Anyway, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is sew her hoodie. The pattern I'm using is from Gigi Requiem on Etsy and the link is in the description. Here are the fabrics. They are all knit. I have blue, purple, and white. Why do I have so much fabric for a little doll? Because it was on sale and I couldn't resist. I cut the shirt parts out from the purple fabric as well as the sleeve cups. Next up are the sleeves and hood parts, which will be cut out from the white fabric. Now that everything is cut, sew the two shirt backs to the shirt front right here. It'll look like this when it's done. I'm hand sewing the sleeves to the shirt. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to remove the stitches later. Once it is attached on, I sewed it on the machine and then removed the hand stitches. Now attach the purple cuffs to the sleeves. Keep in mind that my sleeves ended up being too long and I had to go and cut it later, so make sure it fits properly before sewing the cuffs on. Sew from the sleeves down the sides of the hoodie. Turn it right side out. And here it is so far. Pretty good. It was my first time making a doll hoodie, so I was a little worried. Now for the actual hood part of the hoodie. Sew the two fabric pieces together but leave an opening at the end right here. Once that's all sewed, attach it to the jacket. I'm hemming everything with fabric glue, but you can also sew it or use fusible tape. Here it is! I sewed on tiny snaps for the closing of it. Velcro can also be used. Now it's time for the pants. Once again, the pattern is from Etsy and the link is in the description. I wasn't sure what length I would want exactly, so I'm going to cut it out long and then trim it later. Here are the two front pieces and the two back pieces. Sew the front pieces together along here. Then attach the back pieces to each side. Hem the top. Now sew the back, but leave an opening for the closure. Sew up the leg, over the crotch, and down the other leg. As you can see, these are way too long. Figure out the proper length, mark it, and then cut it. It should be like capris. Hinata has cuffs at the bottom of her capris, so I cut out fabric using the cuff pattern from the sleeves, except made it slightly longer. Now just add a snap closure in the back and it's all done! For the hair, I'm using strands that I cut from a wig I don't use anymore. It's a purpley black. This is the rerouting tool that I made. It's just a cut needle that I glued onto an X-Acto knife base. Taking one strand at a time, push it into the holes in the doll's head. This is really time consuming, but it turns out nice. By the way, I'm using an Ever After High doll. Once she has a head full of hair, I sectioned off a part in the front where her bangs will be. I'll cut it all later. To secure the hair, pour glue into the head and rub it all around inside. To clean off the factory paint, I'm using 100% acetone nail polish remover. Dip in a Q-tip and then wipe off the face. Here's her clean face. Also, this was an interesting thing I wanted to show you. It left a slight mark where the eyebrows used to be. I've never had that happen. Really weird. Wrap up the hair and then spray the face with Mr. Super Clear or some other kind of sealant. Go outside and use a mask. Once the face is sealed and dry, I'm going to add blush using soft pastels. I'm scraping off some pigment with a knife and then brushing it on. I'm using red and a tan peachy color. I really should buy a less intense red for the cheeks because if I put on too much, it just looks like she's sunburned and I have to rub it off. I'm drawing on the face with Prismacolor watercolor pencils. Make sure you sealed the soft pastels before starting with the pencils. First, I'm drawing on an outline of sorts with a light pink color. I'm also coloring her eyes with a light purple. Once the basic outline is done, seal it and then start going on with darker colors. I'm using brown. After sealing it again, I am building up the color. I'm using white and purple. I'm adding just a little bit of black. I'm adding pink to the lips as well as adding the bottom lashes. I'm not doing the top lashes because I'm going to add on false lashes. I added little white dots of white acrylic paint to bring some life into her, and now I am adding gloss to the eyes and the lips. Now for all the accessories. I cut the headband out of craft foam and I'm painting on a silver metallic paint. I used the head of a pen to make the little studs. Then I drew the leaf symbol on freestyle and hot glued this onto a cut piece of black bias tape. I'm using the shoes from the Apple White Back to School set, but I'm altering it so it looks more like Hinata's. I'm making the kunai leg holster out of this belt I found. I'm not sure what doll it's from, so if you know, please comment below and I'll pin it to the top. Now paint it all black. Add gloss varnish to the shoes to seal the paint and make it shiny. I cut out these pieces from craft foam for the kunai bag. I didn't use a pattern or anything, I just winged it. Glue all the pieces together until you have a box, then glue the belt part to it. Wrap white bias tape around the leg for the bandages, secure it with glue, and then put on the holster. For the undershirt, I'm using black tulle. I cut out a basic shirt pattern and then glued the pieces together since sewing would be really difficult. Then I cut the shirt because it was too long. And the entire outfit is done! Now all that's left is to style the hair. I poured hot water over the head to flatten the hair, and now I'm just going to cut the bangs and the length. Lastly, I'm going to add the false lashes to the eyes. And Hinata is done! Yay! Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching!